What's up, my gals? How are you? I'm so excited to be on here. I have been taking the longest journey through my coaching business. I have been trying to figure out who is it that I'm serving? Who are these amazing women? And what is the one thing that they all have in common? Now, they're all smart, they're all beautiful, they're all driven, all of those things. Those are easy for the eye to see. But there's one thing that I fall into this because I have been on my own journey, personal journey. And so I'm obviously attracting women that have been through and that are going through the same things that I have been through. So the one thing that we all have in common is we have either witnessed or been in a dysfunctional relationship. Now, I know I don't like the word either, okay? I just don't. I'm like, what other freaking word can I use so that I'm not sitting here talking about dysfunction? But at the end of the day, that's really what it is. I'm going to explain to you what that is. I'm going to explain to you how this is not your fault. Nothing is wrong with you because you experience this. This has just been that main topic that has created maybe some limiting beliefs for you, some things that have been holding you back. Okay, so I wrote down some notes. I want to make sure I'm staying on track here. The biggest thing, I'm going to go through some basically bullet points for what is a dysfunctional relationship. Okay. And then next week, I'm going to talk about the limiting beliefs that have come from this. So right now, I just really want to be clear on what does this even look like? What did a dysfunctional relationship even look like? Maybe all of these will sit with you. Maybe one of them. It doesn't matter. If there has been something that has been holding you back due to one of these factors, it's time to look into it, baby. It's time. You don't have to be held up by that. That is not who you are. That is just the experience in your life that you have had. And it doesn't need to be a negative, okay? You will learn through our time together that I am not a victim to my circumstances, and neither are you. And the more you dig and the more work that you do, you realize how some of those struggles can really be the medicine that you needed to make changes in your life. So we don't regret anything. We don't wish that things were different. We just accept them for exactly how they are. And then we can decide on what we want to do moving forward, right? Because life is full of choices. And we are free. We have free will to be exactly whoever we want to be. Okay, so let's go through these factors of a dysfunctional relationship. So number one here, lack of communication. I don't know about you guys, but we didn't really communicate growing up. Okay, so communication is really, really tough. And when there's lack of communication and people are just in their heads creating their own story, no one is actually moving the needle. Okay, you're not actually solving the problem, which is why you needed to communicate in the first place. And that creates a lot of confusion in the household, right? The lack of not being clear, not really know what's going on. Maybe you've even tiptoed. You've recognized something's gone on and then you ended up just kind of tiptoeing your way through the day in hopes that you didn't ruffle feathers, right? You didn't know what was coming next. Which leads me to unhealthy patterns of conflict. So this would be that constant yelling in the household, right? Instead of communicating and hearing each other, you're just yelling and you're talking over each other and you're just trying to make your point to have it come across, right? And so that may have been a pattern you've identified. Oh, mom and dad are in a fight again. I can hear them yelling. Okay, this is a pattern. This is something consistent that we can recognize that like something's not right here. Okay, our next thing, manipulation or control. Yeah. Sadly, most of us, maybe we don't know we've been in a controlling relationship. Maybe we don't understand that we have been manipulated. But in times of trying to be in a healthy relationship, when there is control or an imbalance of power, right, within the household, maybe it's like dad's always in charge and mom just follows suit, okay? That's controlling. That is an imbalance of the relationship, and that could have led to dysfunction. Our most hated but also most appreciated word, because when we can identify that that's what's going on, then that's when we get to make the change, you guys. So the next one we're going to talk about, lack of trust. Okay, I know when we say trust, we think really big, you know, like maybe there was infidelity in a relationship and we think, oh my God, now I can never trust this person again. But it could be down to the smallest thing. Maybe somebody tells you they're going to do something and then they don't do it. And they do that enough times that you develop this lack of trust. You develop this feeling of, I can't trust you. And when we are in a healthy relationship, trust is a beautiful thing, right? Like we all want to feel the safety of trust. All right, emotional and physical abuse. Now, these ones can be a little bit bigger, right? Like you think emotional abuse, you are thinking maybe verbally attacked, maybe being called names, being put down. Okay, those are signs of emotional abuse. Obviously, physical abuse. You are physically being attacked. You are physically being harmed by someone you're supposed to trust. Okay, that is dysfunction. That is not acceptable. That is not what a healthy relationship shows. So that's not something that we want, right? That's not something that we're wanting. Codependency. Codependency is when one person is hoping that the other person can give them enough love, enough respect to fill their own cup. Okay, maybe there's even on this codependency not wanting to leave each other's sides. That could be another one. Okay, that control, that's like, if I'm having fun, I want you to be having fun. And if you're having fun, I better be there having fun too, right? There's this link, there's this attachment of feeling that the other person is in charge of making you feel the way that you're wanting to feel. And the more we learn about this, the more we will learn that we are in charge of making ourselves feel good. And that it's okay to have witnessed a codependency or an attachment style relationship, but we don't have to live in that space forever. Okay, lack of respect or boundaries. Lack of respect. You know what I find funny? A lot of the people that have lack of respect are also the ones demanding it the most. Like, you need to respect me. It's like, okay, well, where's my respect, right? Just somebody just blatantly not respecting you, okay? Not allowing you to have boundaries, which if we can't have boundaries, then we're constantly being walked over, okay? We're not feeling good within our skin. And that also tends to lead to a little bit of people pleasing, but that's going to be later. So lack of boundaries. Maybe they don't even respect your boundaries. Maybe you're like, you know what? I feel good. I put my boundaries. I set my line. This is a no for me and you've made it clear to them and they don't respect it. Okay, that's not okay. When we create boundaries, it is up to us to make sure they are implemented, and it is up to the people around us that they respect us enough to allow us to have these boundaries, okay? And the very last one, which might be a big one, because this also kind of comes back to that lack of communication. But our last one is unresolved issues. This is the pushing it under the rug. Okay, this is the avoiding the fight, avoiding the conflict, avoiding the problem at all costs. If I just ignore it, then it didn't happen. Okay, what comes from that is a ton of resentment. A ton of resentment. If we are only thinking about how we're just going to sweep it under the rug and then we can move on, well, we are not solving that problem. Okay, we are internalizing it. Therefore, we are going to be resenting whoever we are not having this communication with. So this is where it all begins. This is where it all begins. Understanding the type of relationships that you have either witnessed as a child and seeing some of these things being demonstrated that are now affecting you as an adult. Or maybe you didn't recognize that any of these happened when you were young, and now you're in a relationship of your own, and now you're witnessing these. Okay, that's okay. That's because we have unhealed traumas that are going on, right? All of these, I know the word trauma is very traumatizing. It's a big word, okay? Just kind of like dysfunction. Like there's these words that we don't exactly love. But there's little things that are trauma. There are little things that our little self has witnessed. And if we haven't healed from those, we tend to repeat those patterns, okay? And that's okay. That's where it's gone. Like that's how this has all happened. So stay tuned. I will continue to break these down, what kind of attachments are going on, what limiting beliefs, and how you can start working to building a better relationship with yourself, a better relationship with your mind, so you can move on from these patterns, from these dysfunctional relationships that you have been of witness to in your life. Until then, my friends, like and subscribe to my video, and I'll be here next week with more insights. And if you would like to join my community, I will have all the links below, but my website is couragechangecoaching.com, and you can go into the community and you can join the rest of the Courage community during this time of your personal journey, so you have the support of other women that are doing the work. Because I understand how it can start to feel a little bit lonely when we feel like we're the only ones doing anything and doing all this work. And so I've created this community solely for support.